Hi, I'm Mello, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a Notion habit tracker. So, for beginners. So, there's three of them that I'm going to show you. That is six. There's three of them that I'm going to be showing you. The second one does need formulas, and it's like a weekly planner sort of thing, weekly habit tracker, not planner. So, for the second habit tracker, we're going to create a database. And honestly, I have no clue what a database is, except that I can put stuff in it, and I think that's all we actually really need to know. So we're going to / and then go to table view database. Right. So this planner, this specific habit tracker, is going to be a weekly habit tracker. So we're just going to call it weekly. I mean, you can be specific about the week, but we'll do that later. So weekly habit tracker is what we're going to name it now. And I also wanted to have what is this? An icon. So we're going to click on these dots here and then, no, sorry. We're going to click on these three dots here and then view the database and then add the icon of our liking. And I think for this one, I'm just going to use the calendar one. So now it looks like this. Cool. So now what we're going to do is add our habits here instead of like the first one where they're, what is this, diagonal, horizontal? Oh, horizontal. So instead of doing it horizontally, we're going to do it vertically. So we're going to take our habits, reading, 10K run, 10K steps. Let's not run. And then we're going to do our journaling. And I think skincare, that was the other thing. Yeah. And then we're going to do our skincare. So these are the habits. I want them to have icons, like the first one we did. These ones we manually put in. But in databases, you can't just, I mean, you can if you want to. I think you can. You can do that. But I want it to be an actual icon. So like when you're opening it, it would be an icon, not the text. So what we're going to do in order to do that is you can just click on it, like open it, and then click on icon, and then pick whatever icon you're using. You can use these ones or use emojis. I think the emojis are cute. You know what? Today let's do one of these. Let's do that. Or you can select all of them like this, and then go to these three dots over here, and then where it says edit icon, just pick one, like any random one, and then now you can just change them like that. So here are our weekly habits. Cool. So compared to the previous one we did where the dates were vertically aligned, were put vertically, we're gonna put them horizontally. And we're not gonna use actual dates, we're going to use the days of the week. So we will be adding, I forgot what it's called, checklists. So we're going to be doing checklists. So we're going to add a checklist and then we're going to call it Monday. So when you do your reading on Monday, then you just click and it marks that you've done your reading for Monday. Cool. So we're going to do this for every day of the week. Okay, so now we have all the days of the week, and when you're done with the days, with the habits, not days, you can mark them on the day. It's cool. You can add more. If there's construction sound in the background, please just ignore it because I'm not going to stop filming now. Okay. So the new habit we'll add is maybe drink 8, I feel like 8 is a stretch. Drink 6 cups of water. And then we're going to add icon. Alright, so we have our habits, and now if you want to kind of see the progress of how you're doing on Monday, you can just come here to the bottom where it says calculate, click on it, and then say percentage, and then just click on percent checked. So that tells you how you're doing on your Monday. Then you'd have to do it, but you'd have to do it for every single day. Cool. However, if you want a progress bar specifically for your habits, um, as you go through the day, as you go through the week, then we'll have to create it on our own, and we're just going to click on this plus here, look for the formula property, and we're going to call it progress. We can also change the icon here, and I like to do graphs, so let's go with this one. So now we're going to do a bit of maths, which isn't everyone's favorite thing to do, but I promise it's not that difficult. So what we're trying to do is essentially just, is it the average that we're calculating? I'm not exactly sure, but I know that we have to add all of these together and then divide them by the number and then make that into a percentage. But right now, as you can tell, these aren't necessarily numbers. So the first thing we're going to have to do is turn them into either a 1 or a 0. So we're going to start our formula with to number. So we're turning this thing to a number. So we're going to start with Monday. Now Monday is a 1. And we're going to do that with all the days of the week. So just copy paste and replace the date. Thursday, and then that's Friday. Alright, so we have all the days of the week added, and I'm just gonna put them all in a bracket just so it's one thing, and then we're going to divide that by the number of columns that we have here, which is 7, and then we have what I think is our percentage, but it's not a percentage yet. So to do that, we're going to click on the actual property, click on edit property, and then go to number format, and then turn it into a percentage. Then we go to decimal places, and according to your liking, just pick whichever you want. I'm going to do 0. Now we have the percentage, and I also wanted to show as a bar because that's my favorite thing to do. You can also change the color here, and you can remove the number if you want, but I like to include it. You can also make it a ring if that's what you prefer, but I'm going to stick with the bar. So now you can see the progress of your habit for the week. Excuse me. So we've created the habit tracker for the week. Now, according to how you want to store it, you can create a button. You can use this one for every single week, or if you want to maybe archive it, I don't know for what reason, but if you want to archive it and keep it to look at later, then we're going to do the same thing we did with the first habit tracker, which is create an archive page by doing forward slash, forward back, backslash, that thing, and typing our page and then creating it. And we're going to call this page archive. Let's make it big. Well, not big, wide. And then move these things that don't make me happy. And then we're gonna add an icon. Let's maybe go for a box. And then we're going to create, let me just show you. It's easier if I show you. So this is essentially the archive, and you're gonna make the year. And then when you get to the year, we're gonna make months like this. And then for every month, when you open it, it'll kind of look like this. So you can go back and see what you did before. So let's start by making another page. And this one is going to be called year. Full page, customize. And then you can put like that here as an icon. And then we're going to split it into 3 columns. Are those 3 columns? Or however many columns. Maybe you want to do 4. That's fine as well. And then we're going to do a toggle heading 2. And we're going to call that January. And then I'm just going to do that. And then duplicate it. Put it there. Duplicate that. Don't know where it is. Okay. And then we're going to just copy those. Just copy the whole thing, I guess. And then paste that. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and December. So now we have all the months here together for the year, and you can also just add a cover if you want. I'm just going to add the green one that I've been using. And I'll show you. That's the archive. And what you're going to do before we use it is, that's not what I was trying to do, is now we're going to make a button so that every year you don't have to repeatedly like do this. So we're going to forward slash, or is it backslash? Please someone tell me. And we're going to look for button. And then we'll just say new year, add the emoji, And then we're going to duplicate the one we just created. And then we're going to go here, and then the action we're going to add is insert blocks. So now every time you click on the button, it inserts the new year for you. So we're going to drag the one that we just created right now. Well, not created, we duplicated it. And we're just going to remove the one. And also just the space. I'm just going to add underline. I can't add that. There we go. And then move it above it, so every time it just comes, there's a line separating the years. And then we're going to click on done. Just move this year, and we're going to call this year 2025. And then here, I'm going just to add a line. And just add the background color for vibes. Cool. So now if we want a new year, let's say it's 2026, you just click on the button and then you just name it 2026. And then you can start moving everything here. So that's how I do archives when I do. So this is what we have for this week. We're now going to create a button for the new week before we move it to the archive. And we're just going to do what we did before. We're going to call it new week. Before we do this, let me just do something quickly. Let me show you. Before we actually put it into the button, we're going to make it into a toggle. So / toggle, and we're going to do toggle heading 3, and we're going to call it week 12, and maybe you can put the date. That's what you want. I don't know. It's made up 12 September. I know that's not correct, but let's say that's the week, and then put the weekly habit tracker right there. So now your habit tracker is in a toggle, which makes it easier to organize. So we're going to duplicate that. And now we can add it to our button. We're going to go insert block and then drag the duplicate of the weekly planner. We can call it something like this maybe. And it'll have all the things you need. For that week, you can also be specific with the week, I guess. Like week 12 or something. So that when you're adding them, you don't have like a lot of duplicate databases. And we're going to add it at the bottom of the page. Add an icon. And there you go. We're going to put the button right there. And now you have your weekly planner with the days. And if you're done, you can move it to the archive, right into the year, and then straight to the month. So you can just keep them all here. And then click on New Week. And then get a new one. I don't know, 21 September. And then you can start again. If you really don't like the idea of archiving your habit trackers for the week, for whatever reason, then instead of doing all this with a button and creating an archive page, you can create a button. So let's just take this away. So you'll have the one habit tracker as a database and you'll continuously reuse it. So we'll make a button that just clears up everything so you can just start afresh for the week. So clear table, maybe? I mean, I can say it in a nicer way, but can't think of that right now. Yeah, let's do that. And then we're going to go to edit pages and we're going to look for this specific database, which is weekly habit tracker. Is this the one? I think it is. Then we're going to edit a property in that habit tracker, and it's essentially all of them: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then we're going to make them unchecked. So let's just show you how it would work. Oh. Can't see Sunday. Okay, so let's say this is what I've done for the week and I really want to clear my current weekly habit tracker instead of starting afresh with a new one. So I'll just click on the button. I think I clicked on the wrong database. Okay, let's just do this. Make it a different color so I can see. Okay. Apparently that's the name. Alright, maybe let's make it green instead of pink. Cool, so let's try this again. We're going to clear the table. Yeah, there we go. And now you can just start afresh with the same table and you don't need to have like an archive if you don't want one. Another way to view this habit tracker is to create a gallery form. And then we're going to click on card preview. And if you want to add if you want to add an image, you can do that with the cover or adding a specific property where you can insert an image, but for the most part, I just keep it empty. Then we're going to show all the properties. We're going to move the progress down and then just rearrange the dates appropriately. So now you can see all your habits and then mark them for each day specifically, like this. Then once you're done, you can clear the table and start again, or you can create a new week for you to use. Options galore. Alright, so that is habit tracker number 2. We're now going to move on to habit tracker number 3.